Esports, trying to find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. Whoa. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
A beast mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Santi getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. You're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Blue manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
And welcome back, everyone, for another stream coming at you for some Overwatch action. Now shifting over to the NA console division, covering Potato Pillagers versus Dakr Sun. I'm Nevo, joined by the wonderful and talented Shadow Fang. And how are we feeling tonight, Shadow Fang, as we get into the last match on CGL 1?
I mean, I'm excited to see some more console opens here. I just casted the last game with Mental Institution and YE Snowfall, so I mean, I imagine this is going to be a good game. This one, again, being in the losers bracket, so one of these 2 teams is about to go home here tonight, and Dakr Sun in particular has been a really strong team this entire season, so this would be really early for them to go out.
This would be really early for him to go out. It's just losers round 2, and ideally, you want to have your place to maybe go up against the Vicious team once again, with Vicious Control kind of sitting very nicely in that losers round 3, waiting for the victor of tonight's match. So Potato Pillagers, we've had them once before on the stream, had an amazing showing, and then Dakr Sun, again, haven't been on the stream before. Here's the bracket to remind to refresh everyone's minds. The big bracket we do have for the NA Open console division, but as you can see, Dakr Sun falling victim to Mental Institution you had mentioned earlier, and that's where they had fallen down to that lower bracket side, whereas Potato Pillagers in that round 1 did have to go against Vicious Outlaws, taking it 1-3 and finding their place in that losers division. But that is a-okay. They are both here to duke it out and hopefully get to that losers round 3 spot.
Yeah, and like you said, they're going to be going up against Vicious Control, and then I believe the winner of that match might be where the YE Snowfall Mental Institution, it was Mental Institution ended up taking that match. Mental Institution ended up losing that match. Mental Institution is going to fall down into that losers round 4, I do believe. And so, you know, first you got to get through this match first before you can really worry about anything else. But it is nice to just be able to see, you know, what's been going on in this bracket. And I mean, tomorrow we're going to actually have Short Bus and Vicious Sharks will be playing. I'm not sure if they're going to be streamed just yet, but that'll round out the rest of this NA console open bracket.
This console open bracket has been such a treat to watch. And I'm very glad to have been part of a good portion of it in this playoffs bracket, which has just been banger after banger after banger on stream, off stream, throughout all the 3 streams we had today. And let's talk about that really fast. Let's go over to what we had seen earlier today. I mean, Xiaofeng, you mentioned we had Mental Institution earlier, as you can see, against YE Snowfall taking it, Snowfall taking it 2-1 over them, or 3-1, sorry, over them. And Queen of Diamonds earlier today, not even earlier today, at the exact same time, actually, taking it 3-1 over SCAD B Sports. B Sports is so cute, black here. And then a little bit earlier in the EU side of things, of course, we are Mr. Worldwide around here, Everfrog over TEC. So Lots of really fun matches. You can always go back and watch those. And in the future, guys, tomorrow, a lot of the same schedule here. We're gonna have our EU matches happening. We're gonna be having our 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock matches, EST, happening over here between CGL 1, CGL_2, and CGL 3. So put all those on. Don't be a stranger tomorrow. We'll be seeing you guys for all those matches as we start getting into tonight's match, Pillagers versus Dakr Sun.
Yeah, it should be a good one here tonight as well. Both of these teams relatively close in the standings, if memory serves me properly. And I mean, two very strong rosters as well. And with that being said, we should probably go into those rosters as well. I believe we're going to be starting with the Potato Pillagers. And here we go. We've got Vampiric and Last Night on that DPS line with, I always say White Mark the Pot. I'm not sure if it's YT or White. I always get tricked on that one. One Trick Brig and Zazao 218 on that support line. If One Trick Brig comes out on anything besides Brig, I'm going to be very disappointed. I mean, we're at a point where you can just come out on Brig every map due to the current meta we're sitting in right now. So I expect to see that happen. And this, again, been a very strong team, and I expect to see some good things from them tonight.
And speaking of good things, I also expect the same thing from their opposing team, the Dakr Sun team here. As, of course, give me seeing Aceman and Demigod Sun come back up on that DPS line with Blazido on that tank, of course, and Sin with Mastor in that backline, keeping everyone up and able to duke it out against the Potato Pillagers. Very excited to see what we're going to be seeing from both these teams today, especially as we already have our control ready and active. There's going to be our Peninsula coming up on deck, which is going to give a lot of leeway for that Brawl playstyle to be played by both teams here, especially Dakr Sun, whose favorite Brawl comp is Brawl here, and their favorite mode is Control, so we might be seeing the Reinhardt come in.
You know, with both tanks putting Reinhardt as their preferred hero here, I would love to see them just do, a pure handshake, just like, Giga Chad meme back and forth with each other and just play the Reinhardt anyways, It's a lot of people, mine included, favorite hero to play in this game, so I would love to see that happen right now. I have a hard time believing that's what's about to happen, but, I can hope. I got my fingers crossed down here. You can't see it because my hands are below my table, but I promise.
No, for sure. I've also always been a big fan of the Reinhardt mirror here. Playing with Reinhardt as support, as a DPS, also super fun. I don't know, Reinhardt's just the perfect epitome of big guy as a tank with a big old shield. So, as you can see, it is a first of 3 series. We could go to map 6 if there is a draw somewhere on Hybrid or Escort. But starting off on Anarch Peninsula, you have the sub level coming in. You also have the labs as well. Lots of different playstyles can be played here, but mostly the Brawl will be seen, especially with the introduction, not even introduction, because we've been seeing for a couple weeks now. The Malga, of course, is what I'm talking about, and even from the highest levels when he emerged to now kind of the lower levels, or the not even the lower levels in terms of SR literally, but we're not in Overwatch CS. We're in CGL, we're in the NA Open. Malga is already locked in from not one, but both tanks here. So it looks like we are going to be seeing a little bit of the Malga come to play.
I mean, no surprises here, honestly. It looks like we're going to see the Echo variation over here from the side of Potato Pillagers, whereas we're going to see the Genji variation from the side of Dakr Sun. I feel like Mastor is probably trolling right now with his Lifeweaver pick, but yeah, I mean, maybe I've seen crazier things, I suppose.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing my favorite character, Lifeweaver, coming up on the screen here. I actually am a very big Lifeweaver believer, but, I played since he was in his clunky days, so that's just nostalgia on my part. Pharah coming in on deck here from Last Night, and instead of the Genji, instead of the Echo, you still have that aerial power and that spam damage that clearly is forcing Dakr Sun to back up a little bit, with Blazido already being at half health with no armor to his name. So gotta regroup, go around to that objective now that it's unlocked, and force Potato Pillagers to start their engage off and force the point. But it's gonna be going over to Dakr Sun first and foremost. Here's Hyper Ring, forcing everyone to the coast side. Mastor is down, but you've lost your tank. Last Night making sure that Sin gets nothing done here, and it's a back and forth, red blue in that kill feed, but Last Night is uncontested on this Pharah.
No, the Pharah just putting in absolute work on this map, and I've seen it before quite a few times. You can just kind of dance around this big yellow building here in the middle and just put in constant damage. As you can see last night, already 80% on this ultimate. I like the swap from Ace Man, get on this Echo, have something to really try and contest this Pharah a little bit more, force them out more often. And don't look now, but Demigod Son already at this Death Blossom. That is a pretty early Blossom too.
Oh, Demigod Son and Vampira pretty close with that Blossom. I mean, the Barrage is ready first for last night, and it really just depends on how you want to use it here. The Barrage is in the back line, and we're gonna pop it right in front of the face of Brigida, almost sacrificing themselves into that wall, but thankfully the power of that Barrage helps secure Blizito back into that spawn room. Again, Potato Pillagers looking so dominant now against the Kira-san, who now have 4 ultimates in their back pocket, mirroring Potato Pillagers.
No, there is a lot of mirroring ultimates coming in here. It's actually all the exact same ultimates for both sides now that I'm looking at it. And I feel like there's just going to be a few Death Blossoms going off inside of cages, inside of orbital rays. Like, we might need to put like one of those little seizure warnings before this next fight, because there's going to be a lot of just bright lights and things happening here.
We're telling Pride right in. Here's the cage. Demigod-san knocked out of the cage, but to the benefit of the Kira-san finds one with it, that being one trick brig themselves. The cage being expended by White Mark the Pot. And unfortunately, using 4 ultimates from Potato Pillagers versus the Kira-san's 4 ultimates, you have the orbital versus the duplicate. How do we feel about this, Shadow?
Oh, I think if you're Potato Pillagers, you're pretty happy to have the orbital ray online. That it's gonna take like a crazy good play from Ace Man's duplicate to really do anything about this orbital ray. It's just the best ultimate in the game. It just is, and you have to like really mess it up for it to not be able to do that.
Oh. Not even gonna be able to use it. The duplicate gets used early on to continue this this domination that the Kira-san has so far on the objective to make it more even with Potato Pillagers. Yeah, might as well use the cage there, kind of forced it away, and now forcing a reset for Potato Pillagers.
And I mean, good job from Potato Pillagers not wasting the orbital ray there, so you've still got that. It's a massive advantage here. If you're Dakr Son, you probably just want to try and like hard engage into this somehow, force the orbital ray out early, and then retreat so Potato Pillagers can't get as much value out of it.
Demigod-san and Vampiric super even on those respective Death Blossoms on their own right here. Orbital Ray coming in from Zaza on this left side. Ideally, here comes Hyper Ring, and there it is. I mean, I play support. I know exactly when we want to use that Orbital Ray. Boom, right across that objective, forcing the Kira-san to split a bit and even just get out of dodge almost immediately. No one wants to engage with that Orbital Ray at all.
Oh, and don't look now, but Demigod Son getting the pick and White Mark getting picks as well. Oh my goodness.
That's massive for the side of Kira-san. The disengage from Zaza's orbital was massive, and the re-engage even better. We slam in, go for the cardiac overdrive, get 99% on the board here, but Mark the Pot can't stay alive long enough. They might have a last-minute contest, especially with Vampiric having the Death Blossom in the back pocket.
There should definitely be another contest coming out from the side of Potato Pillagers. With both sides having their Death Blossoms available. I think Blizito, if Blizito can get to this cage very quickly, you can have a combo here for this next fight, and that is probably the way you'd prefer to have this Death Blossom go.
Here's the last minute touch coming in. Here's a, Death Blossom from Vampire. Doesn't really find much last night. Not gonna be in the fight, however. Demigod Son still has a Death Blossom in their back pocket, but may not have to use it. Here's the cage, and they go in for that aforementioned combo of the cage and the Death Blossom. Somehow, some way, Dakr-san takes it in a first point of control.
A really close first point as well. I mean, that echo swap by Ace Man ended up being all you needed to really deter that Pharah from laying in as much damage. That first barrage came in so fast from last night, and then I don't recall a second one coming out. I could be mistaken, but that was a complete 180 that happened primarily due to Ace Man's swap over that echo. Smart play here, and you can see why this comp that Dakr Son is running is what the meta comp was for OWCS. It's really hard to deal with.
The frontline power of that Reaper, the burst of the Echo Stickies, and the Honing Beam as well. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Last night, now going over to the Genji, another variation we kind of saw with the Malga comp in Overwatch CS with the Reaper rather than the Echo, but this means that Aceman is just able to run rampant the same way that last night on the Pharah was earlier. So, not really sure how it's going to work out. Good flame from Aceman, but Micah saw early on, and good peel from the backline of Master and Sid, making sure that we're not going to be going down as a 5 stack quite yet. Starting off just real strong around the coastline. Demigod's getting a little bit of peppering damage in there.
Yeah, just both teams just poking at each other so far. Great peel, like you said, keeping Aceman alive, but Aceman doesn't get the peel that time.
Zaza on a stack, taking down Aceman, and looks like the Ace is now no longer into Kirsan's sleeve here. Zaza, a little too on the Zaza, gets sent back to that spawn room, and again, it's a poking battle. It's, one person goes down, another person goes down. It's even on both sides here. But it looks like Bazito a little bit too split from the team, focusing a little bit too much on one straight Brig, who's still narrowly living by the skin of their teeth on this Brigida, as the objective is now ticking over that 12% mark.
And we are seeing Aceman go for the swap onto this Genji. I guess taking a little bit too much poke damage from Zaza there. And, I do like the Genji swap here. Just get that neutral, deflect going for both sides. With White Mark the Pot at a massive cage advantage right now.
It's massive, and with the Vampiric kind of coming up on the Death Blossom even better, right? For Potato Pillagers to maintain this advantage. But as I say that, the cage is online, but White Mark the Pot is unfortunately not. The fight used early on, last night able to find a way to go regroup back with the support line and regroup as a team with their tank.
Great fight win there from the side of Dakr Sun. It really looked like Potato Pillagers had that on lockdown, and then they just punished the Malga, putting in just a little bit too much damage for the Potato Pillagers to deal with. No ults available for Dakr Sun, but they're very, very close to quite a few.
Here's the cage first, ripping off with that rally from one straight Brig. Gonna be saving up that Death Blossom, likely to, negate Blazito's cage, negate Demi Godson's cage. So, very nice done. Goes for the cage, goes for a rally. Very nice, clean team fight. Oh, and a stagger just on top of that? Please. Surely not. I got it out!
And some way, somehow, Aceman escapes with their life. And now you got 5 ults if you're Dakr Sun. This is your engage right here. Just catch somebody with this cage and just instantly kill them. That should be a fight win. Unless Vampiric does that.
Unless Vampire just rips out the Q button and plays the Reaper character. Does out getting their one as well, but it looks like a lot more blue in that kill feed than red, meaning Potato Pillagers able to continue this domination on the second point of control.
And I mean, Dakr Sun still has all 5 of those ultimates, but Potato Pillagers has the Orbital and the Blade, so if they go fast again like we just watched them do, Orbital Blade can definitely run through a lot of these characters quickly.
Demigodson can cook also with his Death Blossom from the side of Dakr Sun, so anything can really happen here. It's up to the first ultimate utilized, which is gonna be that Orbital Ray from Sin, and like you said, coupling it with that Dragon Blade. That's a Ray 3 in the kill feed 4. It's a 5 blue pie in that kill feed. Very nicely done from Dakr Sun, still saving up their other 3 ultimates.
No, that's great ult usage from Dakr Sun, but Potato Pillagers has that same combo that we just witnessed. Only difference is Maztor has Rally, and we know how quickly a Genji can be dealt with if they just get stunned by a Brig Bash, so that could be a problem. You've got the Cage Death Blossom available as well, and I imagine we're going to see that combo eventually.
Here's the cage we were talking about earlier. Looks like everyone going right in. One straight Brig, no longer in the fight. The Orbital Ray has to sustain the rest of the team here, and just like you said, there is going to be the Death Blossom coming in. The Dragon Blade expended by last night, but, I mean, with the rally from Maztor, it just gets shut down, and then you're susceptible to that Death Blossom.
And, I mean, you're happy for that exchange if you're the Potato Pillagers. You only need to win 1 fight. You finally got the ult advantage back in your favor. Dakr Sun doesn't have anything for you. You have Cage, you have Rally, Vampiric, 60% on this Death Blossom, so not too far away. If you stall this fight out long enough, take it to last fight territory, you should have a massive ult advantage.
They absolutely should, but we've seen this happen on just the previous round with Dakr Sun suddenly, bring it back to a much more even game here. Cage ready for White Mark the Pot, and everyone on the side of Dakr Sun is kind of backing up, does not want to get caught in this cage fight, but it looks like we've unfortunately find Sin in there, wrapping around that pole, but it won't be enough cover needed. One Trick Break forced to expend that rally as well, and that, again, really well done team fight from Potato Pillagers, bringing us to round 3 of Banana Peninsula.
I mean, you only needed to catch one person, and who did you catch? Only the most important character in the comp in Juno. So great play from Potato Pillagers. We're going to a point number 3. This has been back and forth so far, very close. It seems like both of these teams really want to just stick hard on these Mauga comps and just swap between either Genji, Pharah, or Echo and keep the Reaper the same and, you know, keep the same support line as always. And I really think that this first fight seems to be determining a lot for these points because you want to start off with that early advantage when you're playing a mirror matchup like this.
Like Aceman going over to the Echo here. Last night, likely means coming off to that Symmetra, going back to the Genji. Yeah, there it is. And we saw Aceman have a lot of value with that Echo first on that first round of Banana Peninsula. So excited to see how we're going to be duking out on the bridge first and foremost here, as again, big poke phase goes for Hyper Ring. Everyone's rushing right in for the Dakr, forced the Wraith early from Vampiric. Here's a slam coming in from White Mark the Pod. The Cardiac Overdrive on both sides here, expanded between Bazlito and Mark. So it is going to be Demigodson having a little bit more flair with that Reaper, getting the picks needed, and a good cleanup from the rest of the Dakr.
And just a little bit more frontline damage coming out for the side of Dakr. You can see that with Demigod Sun having a little bit more ult charge. It's not a big difference, but when you're in a mirror matchup, the tiniest little difference can be the world for you, right? And now we're about to see the teams re-engage here again. No ults very close except Demigod Sun, really.
Ooh, looking for a big TP on top here. Goes for the back line. Puts a little bit of pressure on Vampiric, who unfortunately just gets honed down by Aceman again on this Echo, uncontested even. One Trick Break whip-shotting Mastor out of the fight, and now we're fighting in this little enclosed space where One Trick Break is just finding the value necessary for the Potato Pillagers to have some sort of advantage state once again. Very nicely done. Now recapping the point, we have 45% on Dakr.
And I mean, One Trick Brig finding that pick out onto Mastor, that was really everything in that fight. The way Dakr pushed in there, Sin was not really able to help out that much. And you can tell that now because just look at that ult charge difference between the two Junos right now. This is going to be a very hectic fight right here, but with Potato Pillagers having orbital ray advantage, that's going to be huge.
Tibbers were holding really close, forced the charge away, and here's the cage. It does, you know, unfortunately for Vampiric, gets trapped right in it, cancels it early to go on with the assault on White Mark the Pot, who's still fighting for their lives, as of course A is going underneath and recapping the point in favor of the Dakr.
And I mean, that's a great cage usage from the side of Dakr. That's really all you had to use. You kept all 4 of your other ults, and now Potato Pillagers coming in with basically 5 ultimates. The Genji Blade just 16% off, not that far. And you know, another reason you like playing the Echo here, you could potentially have 2 Maugas. So having 2 Maugas is absolutely insane. That Cardiac Overdrive is just crazy, and I expect that to be the copy Aceman makes here.
Has to be Bazio now without a cage, but you have your own cage with the Mauga copy, which does get expended. Aceman absolutely does go for the Mauga copy, but the Orbital Ray and the Death Blossom, Master can't handle all of that pressure being put onto him. Zaza couldn't get away either. And now here is another Death Blossom coming in from inside the Dakr, but it's not gonna be enough from Demigod's Son, even with the cage kind of helping out a little bit from Mark the Pot. But very nicely done from Potato Pillagers once again throughout that entire, like, there's a lot going on there, you know?
No, there was so many ultimates exchanged just now, and I mean, you're really just left with only the blade if you're the Potato Pillagers, and that's going to be a tough thing to really get some kills with into this composition. There's just a lot of things that can avoid your blade, and right here, you just want to see them engage at just the right moment if Last Night can get some good value with this blade.
And Last Night has done it once before, so I definitely can do it again. Charge coming in on that Reaper. Here's that blade we talked about earlier. Goes straight in against the Brigida. And Master fighting for their lives, and still, Last Night finds the value needed. 1-1 so far, down to either side. Objective still in favor of Potato Pillagers, and now the fight a lot more favor in of the blue team. As I say that, though, you've lost your tank. The Megasa-sun versus... Wait, Reaper versus Juno. Juno versus Reaper happening on the objective itself. But looks like the red team, Dakr-sun, backing up a bit here to reconvene with Blazito, who went down super early in that first engagement.
And I mean, great retreat from the Potato Pillagers, honestly. You don't need to lose any of your players here unnecessarily. It's going to be last fight territory no matter what you do here. Blazito's cage is going to be big time. Vampiric with this Death Blossom available as well. Don't look now, but Demigod-sun's pretty close to theirs as well.
Since so close, oh my goodness, the focusing beam so strong at shutting down low opponents like Mark Pot was in that second in the cage, and no one can get out. I cannot believe Dakr-sun finds the biggest opening pick, that being the tank, and finds the 2-1 victory on Control. 1 point on the board so far in the series.
And I mean, there you go. There's your prime reason that you play the Echo with this comp over the Genji a lot of times. That focusing beam. How do you take care of Malga with all this HP? As soon as they're below half, just throw that Echo focusing beam on them, and then it's instant death for them. I mean, just great plays from Dakr-sun to win this incredibly close map. Really could have gone either way. Dakr-sun just making that one more play at the end of the day.
They made a crazy play. You know, you let Ace Man kind of go on the Echo, find all the value needed, and, you know, just kind of, hey, this tank is low, focus beam. And you just die. You immediately just perish. And it doesn't really help also that arguably Genji into the Echo. Echo will kind of live and kind of, you know, run all over Genji most times than not, just because of her mobility, of the fact that she is such a small hitbox, her burst damage, her beam goes through deflect. So lots of things that kind of worked against Potato Pillagers here, but Dakr-sun worked so well in their advantage and what their comp was good at over the slight variation that Potato Pillagers was running here.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you can see why you like the Echo over the Genji, especially on third point, like you mentioned. Just that extra damage coming through. The ultimate's a lot easier to get value out of than Blade is. Blade, you pretty much have to use Blade with Orbital Ray or Rally, just something to give Genji extra health, because the naked Blade just does not cut it. It's just so difficult to get a kill with that ult.
It really is. And you know, when you hear Genji's ult from the enemy line, you know that you are gonna be public enemy number 1. Everyone's looking at you. Everyone's gonna use all their cooldowns on you to kill you, because they know if this blade touches me twice, I'm dead. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So really hope that we do see some sort of pick coming in from the side of Potato Pillagers, as you know, you have an open map pool available to you. We will be seeing a swap here for a side of Potato Pillagers, I believe. Yes, Prina Posse will be swapping in here for Potato Pillagers versus Dakr-sun. Dakr-sun keeping the same lineup, you know, 5-man team. Juno is still really close to the camera. it's always so jarring. It's like, whoa, she's real zoomed in.
Yeah, I'm ready for my close-up now. Type of picture right there.
Oh, she really is. But yeah, Prina Posse on this Kiriko, or whenever they are airplay Kiriko, usually we'll see them on we'll see him on the Juno for now. He has been a really big factor in Potato Pillagers, especially in that winners round 1. I did spectate previously, but looks like we're gonna be going to our mound 2. Don't know what we're talking about. Our map 2 for round 2 is Hollywood.
And I do like this pick. If you're the Potato Pillagers, you want to take Dakr-sun to a map where it's more difficult to just run this Malga comp, because you just kind of went back and forth with it. It could have gone either way, yes, but if you can force it onto another comp where you're like, we are definitely stronger than them on this particular comp, then you may as well do it. And if you're going to do Hollywood, I mean, Hollywood is a prime map to try and run some sort of dive comp on if you want to, out of like most of the maps we have in the pool. I think Gibraltar might be in the pool, but other than that,
I think so. But you're right, like Hollywood of all maps will force Dakr-sun to slow down. Will force them, you can't just run. Maybe first point you can kind of run in, do whatever you want. But second point, if you don't control that high ground, if you don't fight out on that high ground space of the saloon, of the jail, you know, you kind of are being looked at from all angles down below where the objective is. So it will absolutely force the Dakr Sun to rethink their plan. How can I, if they want to stick with the Malga comp here, how will I, on my attack phase, work through the streets of Hollywood? How will I avoid this high ground? How will I contest the high ground? But so Pillagers, they have so much creativity, so much freedom with the Hollywood pick here that I'm really excited to see how they're going to be handling it, and also which side they're going to be playing on, as I believe the Dakr can choose which side they want to play on for this map.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Dakr Sun, you probably just want to run defense first. I mean, that's always the safe bet, you know, set your own win condition, if you will. I always prefer it that way. Most everyone I've ever played with will always pick defense first, just because they want to be like, okay, let's get this full hold, and then let's walk out here, play some silly composition, and get one tick. You know, that's always the goal, you know?
You know, I'm on the opposite end of that. I actually like attacking first.
Okay.
I like attacking first, but I know that I am definitely in, like, you know, there's like a minority. I'm in the minority of the minority. Like, no one else likes to attack. Whenever my team is like, hey, do we want to defend or attack first? Like, I'm like, can we attack? And everyone's like, no, we're defending. But if they are on that, if Dakr Sun is on the attack side of things, I am interested to see if they actually will run the Malga once more. And looks like, no, Dakr Sun looking like, oh, I'm trolling. Hollywood sign, very beautiful. Okay, looks like Potato Villagers actually will be on the attack side of things, with Posse again repping over on the Juno instead of, you know, my girl Kiriko. Kiriko, I miss you. Come home, baby girl. Dakr-san opting to go for the Mal. Oh, they're both going for Malga. Vampiric, please don't troll. Please don't troll. Please say Dunk. That'd be so funny.
I did see a Junkrat earlier today, so I wouldn't be shocked to see it again. I kind of like Ace Man's pick on this Ashe here, just taking a little bit more advantage of just that poke range that you're going to be playing at a lot of the time, potentially stopping Vampiric from just kind of running wild on this Echo as well.
And you have to both of the Echoes we've seen today from between Ace Man and Vampiric have been absolutely dominating, because no one's really been contesting them. So Ace Man opting to go to be the server admin of the day, go for that Ashe, but look at this run up to the high ground, forcing Ace Man to back up from a comfortable position, retreat back to the cafe. You've lost Sin, your Juno, so you're only relying on Master's healing here with the Brigida. Oh, we can just do that? We can just run onto the cafe? You're insane. Potato Pillagers is absolutely running through Dakr Sun's defense line here. It's only, of course, it's only Ace Man and Mastor left, with Blazino still back into the fight here, retreating with the Brigida. Gonna go for this ring contest against the Pernapos, who is just being focused so hard by Blazino. Finally, it's gonna be looking like a somehow, some way, Dakr Sun restabilizes.
And I mean, yeah, I really gotta shout out White Mark the Pot running across that high ground over to the cafe. I can't believe that just happened. I didn't even know that was a thing. But a great recovery from Dakr Sun, and here comes that engage again.
And White Mark the Pot so low, and yeah, just taken right out by Bazito in the Malga mirror. Duplicate ready for Vampiric, however, which could be absolutely devastating if you do have the two Malgas available to you.
No, absolutely can do a lot of damage having double Malgas. But I mean, look at Blazito having so much more ult charge on this Malga right now. And I think that there's just too much damage getting poured into White Mark the Pot right now that just can't be recovered from a lot of the times.
Looking for the rotation on this high ground once more, and there's the cage from Vampiric and Blazito. I'm sorry, the duplicate from Vampiric, the cage from Blazito here, excuse me. And it's, again, so much back and forth in that kill finish, a tight little room. The death plus does come through from Demigod Son, but last night shuts him down almost completely here. And Dakr Sun with Ace Man at the helm, making sure that they are able to continue this defense lineup against the side of the Potato Pillagers. Oh, very nicely done. Me, I would have fumbled. I would have gotten too scared.
I was so nervous Ace Man was going to take that mini health back, and somehow last night was going to take it and then win that duel. I'm so glad it did not go that way, though. But now we're going to see Potato Pillagers does have a Cage Blossom available to them, and also their double support ults. But I think that Cage Blossom is going to be your key ult combo here if you want to take this fight.
Big overload on the main wave, though, and just like that, Dakr Sun rolling over the Potato Pillagers a little bit too hard here in this engage. And look, the stagger here on right with the pot. I mean, trying to get his one, but not being able to find it. At the very least, however, there's only Bob, there's only Rally. Potato Pillagers has 4 ultimates in their back pocket.
No, they have a lot to work with here. You really just gotta go. You gotta go in quick. White Mark the Pot keeps wanting to, charge in with this Malga. This is the perfect opportunity to do it. But look at where Dakr Sun is sitting right now. There's no way they're waiting for this.
And the Relic of Mastor right in the entryway forces the orbital from Pernapos to just duke it out in the first choke point of Hollywood. It's still not going their way. Pernapos not even in the fight anymore. But a absolutely massive Death Blossom does come through from last night and was very much a much needed breath of fresh air for the Potato Pillagers.
Exactly what they needed. I thought for sure that it was going to be the Cage Blossom that finally did it for them, and I'm glad to see it worked out right in time too. 16 seconds on the clock. And now here we go, point number 2. I'm really curious to see how these teams are going to play, trying to control this high ground with these comps that kind of want to be more in your face than sitting on high ground.
Oh, Mastor, good shoot up, of course, avoids that focusing beam from Vampiric here, and here's a rally from One Tree Brig. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to find too much value in the meantime, while Dakr Sun once again regains their dominating position in the defense side of things, and now have time to set up either close or on that high ground.
And I have to imagine they're going to hold close here. With a comp like this, you want to be in their face as much as you can. You've got the Cage Blossom available that works so well for Dakr Sun.
Oh, there it is, and there is the Blossom and the Cage you were talking about earlier, even shutting down the duplicate attempt from Vampiric, leaving White Mark the Pot all by himself once more. Really good ult cycling from Dakr Sun. They have the orbital ready, while Potato Pillagers has nothing, zilch, for this next fight.
And now again, you can keep up with this close hold. I think you probably should as well. Just wait for the side of Potato Pillagers to kind of int into you, and then boom, orbital ray, and you can just win the fight outright.
Here comes the orbital ray from Sin. It should be massive here, but it's a pushback. Potato Pillagers forced to retreat back towards their spawn room area outside the range of that orbital ray, and they might have been a little more than they can chew. Potato Pillagers, that is Vampiric and both One Trick Brig, no longer in that close range game plan that they have been going for this entire time. Dakr Sun once again just going right in. This is insane. A minute left in the time bank here.
They were doing such a good job just using like that one ultimate as we keep seeing and winning out with it. And now, like, look at this. You're about to force Cage out in their own spawn.
Oh, man. 50 seconds left on this objective just for Potato Pillagers to maybe, bring it a little bit closer than 20 meters from the first objective. At least they got it unlocked. They do have the Cage, they do have the Blossom. They're about to have everything for the most part, while Dakr Sun only has that Brig, Rally, and the Bob.
And I mean, here, this is your moment if you're Potato Pillagers. You just can't over-ult this fight right now. Just Cage Blossom. Cage Blossom should be enough for you to take this. Try not to use anything beyond that if you can help it.
And they have 4 ults. And it looks like Dakr Sun again be giving them the space needed to breathe until Bob has been just let out like a Pokemon. Not one, but 2 of them. It's, oh, look at my screen right now. Look at my screen. Blazito's not looking at it. Blazito not even in the fight anymore. Bob taking care of the cages respectively from both sides here. Potato Pillagers somehow, some way on top of an insane ult exchange from both sides here.
Great job there from the Potato Pillagers. It's going to take probably one more fight. Yeah, I think one more fight should get you all the way to this next point. And you've got to deal with the Rally, the Death Blossom, and potentially the Orbital Ray coming out from Dakr Sun. I mean, it's really just up to last night here. This Death Blossom has to be everything for Potato Pillagers.
Oh, thankfully, not going to lose Matadors too early on, but they're burning. The Rally has to be expended for that armor, and... Brother, what do you mean? What do you mean we didn't touch the objective in overtime? It's okay. They pushed it past 20 meters, which is all I was asking for.
I mean, yeah, you can't expect much more than that. When you get spawn held for that long to even get to this corner is pretty solid, honestly. And I mean, now Potato Pillager is going to have to come out on this defense and try and play up to that same level that Dakr Sun was just playing on their defense. It's going to be a tough ask. because they were just getting spawn held for a large majority of this game, and that is a tough thing to break out of. Extreme close up.
Which of my observers is doing this to me right now? Is it Mara? Yeah, it's Mara. I love you, Mara, just so you know. And now you can hear me. I love you, Mara. These close-ups, I don't love them. They're a little bit scary. Dakr side and Potato Pillagers going for that double Malga comp master, definitely not staying on the Mercy. If you stay Mercy, I will PayPal you $20, I swear. I think Mercy is just fun to play. This hasn't really seen her place in the meta for a long time, unfortunately. But in the right hand, she can absolutely be a menace. But Perna Policy and One Trick Break, I mean, sticking with that Juno Brigade backline. Pretty sure Dakr Sun's gonna be doing the same thing. Ace-Man going to the Genji here. We kind of putting Vampiric a little bit in a chokehold with that deflect, with that evasiveness. So I can't wait to see how Dakr Sun's gonna be attacking here. Now that the defense went so smoothly.
No, they're gonna have to get like some. It's gonna take a lot to really dislodge this Ash of Vampiric. But I wouldn't be surprised if Blazito just does that charge across over to the cafe that we saw a little bit earlier from White Mark the Bot. Oh, I like this one too, though.
Oh, we're going for the rotation of all time. We're gonna be flipping the point, in fact, on Hollywood of all things. And Potato Pillagers caught a little bit off guard, forced to duke out in this small corridor where Ace-Man is now on the flank on that high ground, kind of by his lonesome. Here's the orbital ray here, and the Carter overdrive expanded a little bit too early from White Mark the Pot. Kind of gets folded almost immediately by Blazita, but Ace-Man again by his lonesome gets found out by Vampiric, who's playing this angle extremely safely, but has to be careful on his back to make sure that Ace-Man doesn't come back from the spawn room. Yeah, just checking right now, has to get out of there immediately. Last night, no longer in the fray. Big wraith coming in from Demigoson to avoid the brash from One Straight Brick on this high ground, and you getting jumped by one person. Hey, Demigoson, stop jumping people, that's crazy. One tick array gone on this objective, Shadow.
And I mean, yeah, this is definitely going the way of Dakr Sun right now. That was, like you said, that rotation was kind of wild. That was a wall. But I cannot believe that they just flipped map on them like that and just took complete control over the positioning of the Potato Pillagers. Vampiric is getting relatively close to this Bob. But I mean, it's asking a lot for Bob to really be your only saving grace here, because there's nothing else to really prevent this push that's about to come through from Dakr Sun.
The push on this high ground now, the objective pretty much gliding easy through the streets of Hollywood. Trying to go over to this high ground, of course, but Potato Pillagers forced to kind of back up a little bit, force themselves down into the objective itself, and duke it out in the streets itself. Everyone is we're all jumping from the high ground. Ooh, the Death Blossom is ready, and last I just couldn't find the Mega Pack in time. Then we got some on this high ground. Vampiric. Wow. Second time Vampiric has been able to kind of outplay Ace-Man here, but at what cost? The Kirsan's still pretty much up in numbers.
And you're just going to keep seeing that card just move right on along. Move along, move along. Dakr Sun, 5 ultimates to their name here. Vampiric's probably going to have to throw Bob to get this touch, unless we're going to see another letter number.
I hope not. Oh, I hear multiple ults going. All 5 ultimates, in fact, for Dakr Sun have now been expended, and for good reason. Why not? It was last fight territory. We have 5 ultimates. They're taking this Hollywood map under the belt easily. 2-0 so far in the scoreboard.
Oh no, just honestly complete dominance from Dakr Sun on that map. Map number 1 was really, really close. Map number 2, it feels like Dakr Sun just understands what to do with this composition a little bit better than the side of the Potato Pillagers do at the moment. Their ult combos are on point. Their ult cycling is on point. I mean, they spawn held the Potato Pillagers for a large majority of their defense. They're just expending one ult over and over again to win fights outright. I mean, just great team play from Dakr Sun.
Absolutely. I mean, they spawn held for like 2 minutes straight, 2.5 minutes straight from the original 3-minute-ish time bank that, or 2.5-minute time bank that Potato Pillagers were able to find in their own attack phase. But I mean, Dakr Sun just went right on through, had very interesting rotations, kind of catching Potato Pillagers off guard multiple times. They were confident. They had someone on the payload, just kind of moving it while the core was duking it out somewhere elsewhere to kind of distract Potato Pillagers from the fact that, hey, this objective started off at 0 meters, and now suddenly it's at 35. So, really well done from Dakr-san there, especially on both Control and Hollywood. They are 1 point away from taking it over the Potato Pillagers. But we'll get possibly the conclusion after this very quick break before this map 3. Welcome back, everybody. We are here after that very quick break to have our teams, Dakr versus the Potato Pillagers, duke it out in this map 3, which is the match vote here, or match point here for the side of Dakr. We're going over to New Junk City. You know what that means, Shadow? More Mauga!
Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing some more Mauga here. I think maybe the Pillagers are thinking that this map can more favor the Genji because they watched Sugar Free do so well with the Genji on this map in particular. So, I mean, that's the only thinking I can have here. When you're running mirror matchups like this, it's always hard for me to tell exactly what is prompting you to pick particular maps. But with them preferring the Genji over the Echo, I'm like, okay, New Junk City makes more sense to me than most of the other map choices we have.
I had to agree. Yeah, the Genji does so much on New Junk City, especially this arena that you're kind of forced to start off on. It's such an enclosed space. You're forced into this kind of circular formation. And then on top of that, if you want to fight on the point, it's the same thing. You're in a very even smaller enclosed space. You're running around a main like little pillar in the middle. And Genji gets so much value with the small little short off angles that he can absolutely just farm off of. So, you know, New Junk City being the choice for this map 3, I am rooting for the best for Potato Pillagers for this being their map choice. I want to see the Genji flourish. I want to see this go to a map 5 series.
And I mean, we saw them be a lot more close in contesting Dakr on the first map, Antarctic Peninsula. And I mean, you know, Flashpoint is just control with extra steps. So you may as well try it out again, see if you can keep it as close as last time. Are those speakers on, or am I having a stroke right now? Like,
No, they're on. They're on. They're blasting.
No, for
Blasting
real,
some.
they're jamming.
Yo, they party down here in New Junk City. Oh my goodness. Yeah, as we kind of expected. Same thing from Potato Pillagers and Darker Sun. At least with the Mauga, I think I like the fact that last night is kind of itching to go back to that Pharah. Master going over to the Brigida. There we go. There's a lot of stuff happening. I got a little scared, but Ace Man should have so much free value here on the Genji. I can't wait to see him just pop off.
No, absolutely. And I mean, that makes sense too. Last night would want to go back to this Pharah. They really like that pick on map number 1. And you're going to get a lot of the same sort of just tight angles you can try and hold here too.
No, double charge coming in from either side here. Petaposca and the Juno finds the torpedoes on Sin. So Dakr already down their most important player. And Blazito, that being the second player, you're down already. Now, good whip shots, kind of contest the point a little bit from Master, but that's all that she wrote. The Potato Pillagers looking real strong, real alive and awake here in this next objective.
I think I'm starting to see what the idea for the Potato Pillagers is, what they want to do. It seems like White Mark the Pod is just kind of charging in indiscriminately all the time. No, it just kind of looks like that's supposed to be their engage. They just kind of charge in, land the slam, and then have rockets following in behind it. You see Ace Man immediately swapping over to that Echo as well. Let's see if that works as well as it did on the Antarctic Peninsula.
It really might, just to kind of give last night a little bit of a run for his money. Now with the double flyers coming through, and just like that, ooh, the Ziggy's come through. Here comes the photon beam, but last night finds the pick first and foremost on Ace Man. Dakr again down one of the more important assets of this Mauga comp, that being the Echo burst damage from those stickies. So forced to retreat, regroup quickly with their Echo.
Could be a relatively quick reset, but we're going to be last fight territory here. And I mean, last night with these rockets they've been shooting in so often, I have to imagine they're going to get this barrage online and somewhere in the middle of this fight.
Them and Vampiric both so close to these respective DPS ultimates. Then getting their one back on front of Posse, however, with those torpedoes, and Ace Man gets the stickies up, but someone's got a touch, and looks like, oh, thankfully Master are going to be the one to get the feetsies. It's on the ground here, and last night, again, uncontested in the air. Here's the cage fight coming in from the side of White Mark the Pod, and the barrage on last night is insane. But just one more tap, and that's all you need to take this out, and Sin does it for the skin of their teeth. But the rest of the Pillagers starting to come back, and I think that's going to be all that she wrote. 1 point on the board and flashpoint for Potato Pillagers.
That was a gutsy play from White Mark in last night, but they managed to pull it off. The cage, the Mauga basically just sacrificing themselves so their Pharah has a shield to get that barrage off for free. I mean, really smart play. It could have went poorly, but it didn't, and that's what matters in the end. but now Dakr Sun has their patented Cage Blossom combo online here, so I will be expecting that to come out here soon.
Oh god, on this objective, all things as well, the Cage is, I'm sorry, no charge on deck, but inside of Zito or right by the pot has to kind of hold all his damage, but here's the Death Blossom coming in from Vampiric. Ooh, finds Sin so easily here, and just like that, off of one major pick, Potato Pillagers once again finds their footing in the second objective.
And they do manage to also get the Death Blossom out of Demigod Sun. Dakr Sun has their other 4 ults online. Potato Pillagers does have their Orbital Ray available to them, though. If they can get some good usage out of this Orbital Ray, maybe they can do something, but Dakr Sun, it looks like they might just have too many resources for Potato Pillagers to deal with here.
And ideally, they don't just dump it all up and all together, right? So here's the Cage first, and the Orbital good holding on to these other ultimates here from Aceman and Mastor, as it looks like a one team fight for a side of Dakr Sun finally on Nujung City.
And yeah, that's how you would expect that fight to go. It's
wow.
nice kill though on the last night, not letting them get away, staggering it out just a little bit further. And now with Aceman having that copy online, they could potentially get a cage fight from the Mauga. They could even copy Juno, try and get an Orbital Ray if you're feeling really spicy with it. But I think the easy copy here is just Mauga, pin in, Cardiac Overdrive, and just see what happens.
And ideally get that Cage online, that Duke Cage coming in for Aceman, right? So here it is. It's going to be on the Reaper instead, and I mean, I'm a little bit scared because look at the ult charges at 87% off of just 3 flicks of these shotguns. And you might as well just let it rip as we teleport closer and closer to the side of Potato Pillagers. Dakr Sun looking so strong again. 78% and counting, and it's so much faster than regular Control.
And it's the same thing that happened on regular Control. Aceman swapping onto that Echo last night, not able to have as much impact as they did on point number 1. Here comes White Mark the pot charging in, getting his point touch.
But here's the Orbital Ray coming right through that objective. The barrage. Oh, bestie! Not the self barrage. I mean, it works out Potato Pillagers. It looks like the Dakr Sun does kite away almost immediately, but they know they don't have a Pharah. So they go straight back in with a full 5-man force with Aceman on the flank here. Putting a little bit of that extra damage. The rally for the extra sustain from Mastor means the objective has now recapped in favor of the Dakr Sun. Yes, the cage is expanded. Yes, we've lost Mastor. Here's the Death Blossom, and it's massive again! Oh my goodness, how many times have Vampiric saved the day with these Blossoms?
Oh man, it never gets old seeing a Death Blossom for some reason. It's like the simplest ult in the game, and it's always so satisfying to get so many kills off of it. It's like Rhine Shatter in that way. You're never mad to see a huge Death Blossom go off, and that's 2 points down for the Potato Pillagers on the back of that Death Blossom. We'll ignore that TP. That happens to the best of us.
Huge TP made by Demigod Sun. Looks like, okay, Master just have to Lucio for a second, but realize, okay, we can't touch. Go back to the Brigida, go back to the Juno. Looking like we have to duke it out on this interesting point here. Has a little bit of the high ground on this side and the right side as well on the objective itself with a good amount of cover. Ultimates in deck here. Demigod Sun still does have that Death Blossom on his own end here, but the rally from One Straight Brig could be enough to maybe sustain through, maybe knock Demigod Sun away from here. But Aceman kind of sought out by these mini shotguns, but great bash, a great whip bash from Mastor, but it still looks like the Pillagers on this objective, and the Dakr Sun's gonna fight this. They have a tank, they're gonna go straight into it and hopefully get a really solid pick here on last night.
No, you're going to see an instant point flip come out from Dakr Sun. You really just want to see the Potato Pillagers retreat, get their tank back. I can't say I've ever seen someone flailed off the map and not actually fall completely off the map, so that's a first for me. The Cage Blossom is available for Dakr Sun. They've been so strong with it, and here it comes.
That's here, but there's the rally from One Trick Brig, and it just wasn't gonna be enough to sustain through a Cage and a Blossom, you know? And the Stag here, I mean, it hurts my soul. I feel it. I've been there, bestie. But it's necessary for Dakr Sun to get a leg back up in the series down after being down by 2 whole rounds.
No, that was rude right there, but you know, I like the spirit of it. Get that extra ult chart, or get that extra point percentage. No ults really online for Potato Pillagers. That barrage getting very, very close here. But Aceman having this copy available, I think, is probably going to be a little too much.
It is too much. Pernapasi unfortunately just couldn't handle it, and like we said, I mean, the ult charge on this duplicate Reaper, Death Blossom, is insane. Wow. Alright, we're back. Dakr's son finally wakes up a little bit.
Yeah, takes a point for themselves. They got double support ults. If you're gonna be down ultimates, you know, you're down 3-2 basically, but you've got double support ults, and that's probably the best spot you can be in if you're gonna be at a disadvantage. There's the cage.
Oh, cage into orbital, over the head view shows the mess going on this objective, but again, the completely gets shut down by Dakr's son once more, and again, one-way bridge, unfortunately, just can't get out. It's a constant stagger over stagger over stagger. Very well done, again, from Dakr's son, opting, they want this to go to around 5, absolutely.
No, they're ready for it, for sure. And I mean, great ult usage there, though. The Orbital Ray just completely denying 2 ultimates from the Potato Pillagers. That's why I constantly say it's the best ult in the game. It just is. But now Potato Pillagers have that ultimate available to them, as well as the barrage. Let's hope Last Night doesn't get another self-barrage, as we saw a moment ago.
Oh god, I need Last Night to redeem himself real fast with this barrage. Gets healed up and like finding his little alleyway, but they're so low they can't really engage in the same area as the core. Now we're going all the way around, and we get stomped out, and Ace Man goes straight down for the count. Barrage maybe not even needed here, as it looks like the fight's turning very nicely in favor of Potato Pillagers.
It is slowly but surely going the way of the Pillagers, and you're going to get up to about 60% if you're Dakr's son, though. You managed to build up quite a few ultimates, so now it's a pretty even fight for this next one. Yeah, you really, if you're Dakr's son, you just want to force Orbital Ray. Yeah, like, if you can force Orbital Ray out, you feel confident with your Cage Death Blossom winning a fight outright. It just has consistently, but we just saw how it won't do that through an Orbital Ray.
All the spin damage coming in from Last Night on this choke point is so good against the side of Dakr's son. But we're turning right in. Here's the cage. Goes for the rally, goes for the barrage. Barrage does expel that cage, and the Death Blossom from Demigod's son enough to make an impact for Dakr's son to retake this point back in their hands.
I mean, I've got to say, I'm really surprised that Perna's Posse did not use the Orbital Ray, because now what we're looking at is Sin is about to have an Orbital Ray to combat it, as well as Ace Man having this copy. And Ace Man, you've got what's it called, a Reaper copy, you've got a Malga copy available to you. You could even go Brig or Juno if you're feeling extra spicy with it. And there you go, Reaper.
Oh, I love that Ace Man has started just goes for these Reaper duplicates rather than the Malga, and finding so much unearthed value with that Reaper duplicate. Orbital Ray on the objective here, forcing everyone to back up. It is now expended, and I mean, good charge, but not before Last Night does kind of fall victim to that Death Blossom. And again, we are now 2-2 here on New Junk City. We're going over to map 5. Oh, I'm sorry, round 5, excuse me.
Round 5 incoming. A match point for Dakr's son. So if they take this point, that's going to be it. Potato Pillagers are going to be out. But we're going to have dueling Death Blossoms available for either side. Neither side used them with their cage that time. So, I mean, here it is right here. Can you get value out of this Blossom without the cage being available to you? That's the real question.
And this point of all points, I think, is so favorable to whomever is there first, that being Potato Pillagers. But not again, knocked off the high ground and forcing everyone to kind of play the objective itself. Vampiric has to teleport early on to regroup with the team here. And now suddenly it's been flipped. Dakr's son has most of the control of this high ground space with Blazito, taking the charge here. Go for the Hyper Ring, running right into Peel is going to be expended as well. And there goes Last Night. No sense of this barrage being built up. And the the Death Blossom finds a wall and a floor, but no players. Demigodson still finds so much value with just hitting those shots over and over again on Vampiric.
And I mean, like I said, it's really satisfying to see the Reaper just shoot the shotguns, get the nice ultimate off. Last Night, gonna be looking for this barrage here. Can they get a good one off this time?
With the cage, I mean, I would just do barrage to get rid of the cage for my teammates before inevitably they all start going down. Vampiric goes for the winning play again with that Death Blossom, but it's not gonna be enough, at least this time. 40% already unlocked on this objective. Vampiric, no Death Blossom, but we have 4-ish ultimates ready for Potato Pillagers.
4-ish ultimates indeed. I would like to see the Cage go with the Barrage here. Preferably before Sin gets this Orbital Ray online. That Orbital Ray healing can give you like just enough time to react.
Oh, but not the rally from Master, forcing Run Straight Break and Last Night from ever being able to pop either of their ultimates here. The Cage is even better for the side of Potato Pillagers. I mean, they can keep everyone kind of situated. And maybe have Last Night come back in time, but no. Still being able to find Predator Policy on this very late stagger. No one can touch your Shadow. That's gonna be it! Dakr Sun takes it in a reverse 3-2 and goes 3-0 in the series against the Potato Pillagers.
I mean, yeah, complete dominance from Dakr Sun, like for the entire series. Map 1 was close. Map 3 was close at times, but it seemed like the further along we would get, the more just the consistency of Dakr Sun was showing itself, and that's usually what separates like great teams from really good teams, is just consistency.
That consistency, that team play, being able to adapt on the fly, I also think is kind of underrated here, making those split-second decisions. Like, for example, do I pop Reaper ult here when we're down in like a 2v4, and then suddenly, boom, you pop and you win, and it's great, you know? So that kind of awareness to make those split-second decisions, to get that coordination off, to have that team synergy for Dakr Sun was absolutely wonderful to see. And now they have officially, you know, secured their spot in that losers round 3 spot. I believe against Vicious, I want to say Control. Yes, against Vicious Control as their next round. So that's also going to be a really fun time to watch. Any of the Vicious org teams, I'm always excited to watch here.
No, we have so many Vicious teams to choose from. I mean, just take your pick. The Vicious v Vicious matchups are always pretty fun as well, with the teams being so familiar with each other. But Dakr Sun taking this match here today in really dominant fashion, and just going to be looking to move forward along in that lower bracket.
Absolutely. But before we do all that, we are going to be having an interview with Mastor, the Brigida from the side of the Dakr Sun team. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with that interview for you guys. And we are back, not quite with Mastor. I might have been a little bit of a liar, but we are here with Sin from the side of Dakr Sun. Sin, how are we feeling today after such a wonderful performance, a wonderful 3-0 victory for your team?
I feel so amazing. I love my teammates. They're so amazing. we did good. We got the score that we expected. We had a couple hiccups because we haven't played into Afara too often in the Magma Mirror. So
Ooh, so yeah. So speaking of that Farah, I do want to ask in that case. So what was the accommodations you guys made in accordance to that Farah? I know we did see the Echo come in, kind of deal with her a little bit. Was that the only plan you had, or was there a little more steps to that?
So when we're playing into Farah, the issue that we had early on was definitely playing as if there wasn't a Farah. And that's just playing normal mid fights and trying to go for the best mid fight possible. But when you're playing into a Farah, you have to have a good early fight so she doesn't have that time to land that the sustained damage onto you. So we eventually ended up going for way earlier fights, way faster fights, and just trying to win off of that, which showed in like map 1 and 3. So it was like a adaptation that we made. So we just
All right. And then I guess my question is going to be what makes you decide between playing the Echo or the Genji? That seemed to be the primary thing that was just swapping around there. So what prompts the swap between those two particular heroes?
So Echo and Genji, they kind of perform within the same confines of the team fight, where it's like looking for that burst, looking for that damage. But for us, it's more of a map preference. So we do go for Echo on on usually longer range, more open maps, and then Genji on the closer range maps. But in like the situation where we end up seeing Farah a lot more often, we're running the Echo to counteract it easier.
And that definitely came true in that in round 3, especially with the farther playing on those enclosed spaces on Junker Town New Junk City for a little bit there. I do want to ask, speaking of New Junk City, it was probably the closest you guys had to possibly giving up a single point on this scoreboard, right? They were up 2-0 against you guys. What was the adaptations that you guys had to make in that specific decision to bring it back 3-2 on New Junk City?
It was definitely us just forgetting that they had a Farah again. We just played to have the earlier fights again. Like on the point where we were most points, we saw us staging really, really up close and hiding behind walls and going for these different plays and stuff. And that's because we were a lot of times in ult deficits because of those first 2 lost points. So we had to find a way to get a quick fight, a quick win, to come back from that. And then once we get that first one on that 3rd point, it's way easier to snowball into an actual lead.
Oh, well, all right. What do you think about your next matchup? It looks like you're going to be playing into one of the Vicious teams. Vicious Control is coming up next. What do you think about that?
We've done a lot of research on a lot of the Vicious teams and the teams in general, and I don't think we're not gonna struggle. But then again, we also didn't think that we were gonna like have too big of an issue today. But obviously, things panned out differently. So we're definitely gonna take our time, research, scrim a bit more often, do all these different things to make sure we stay in shape for the next matchup. Because there's no reason to be underestimating anybody at this point when we're in the loser bracket.
Oh, absolutely. And that loser bracket full of vicious people. So I so I hope you guys absolutely do take it as far as you possibly can with Dakr-san. And now for your final question, of course, since you are live on the stream, who do you want to give a shout out to? It can literally be anybody you want.
Anybody.
I
would love to give a shout out to my favorite SCP, Blizzito. All right, I love him so much. He listened to all my calls in the game today. He was right there with me. He didn't even hesitate on one single call I had today when we were down 0-2 and we were down so often and we just needed to look for creative ways to win a fight. He was right there next to me. Love him.
I love that. I'll start crying right now. Stop playing with me. I'm really glad you guys had a really great time tonight. Amazing thrill victory. Hope you guys keep going as far as you can in this lower bracket, hopefully in the grand final spot as well. But until then, please have a wonderful night. Go celebrate with your team. You guys absolutely earned it. And tell them congrats from the caster side, things from production to your team.
Yeah. See you guys later.
See you.
Yep.
What a wonderful soul. Wow. What a wonderful guy.
No, definitely like the energy there. A lot of times we don't get like super in-depth answers, so I love the enthusiasm there.
No, yeah, and they just figured out whatever they needed to do. Like they said, they were like, okay, we're gonna ignore the Pharah, and then it's like, we should not ignore the Pharah. The Pharah is doing too much to stay on us. They changed up, they adapt quickly, they get the wins they need, and they get the plays needed. So again, wonderful job from Dakr-san taking it 3-0 against the Potato Pillagers, and very proud of their performance, very proud of Potato Pillagers' performance as well. They had some amazing close games against Dakr-san, so in no way count them out. I mean, they're out of the bracket, but as a team, they're strong. They have, a lot of good qualities about them. There's a little bit of things that need to be, cleaned up and speed up a little bit, and they are absolutely going to be a menace in the next season if they do compete. But otherwise, that's going to be Potato Pillagers bowing out of the NA Open console bracket, and Dakr-san, looking ahead, seeing the road ahead of them so clear with two vicious teams still down there waiting for their claws to sink into some skin.
No, absolutely. I mean, Vicious Control coming up next for them for sure. And I mean, Vicious Sharks is still in the upper part of the bracket. I'm sure there's another Vicious team in the lower part of the bracket somewhere that I'm forgetting about right now. They're all over the place. You can't look left or right and not find at least one of these teams somewhere.
Absolutely. And there's a Vicious team also waiting to play to get to round 3, so it's just Vicious all across the board.
Yep.
But in all seriousness, absolutely wonderfully done from Dakr-san. Thank you for production, to my producer, to my observers, and my replay, of course, having everything done for today. You guys did absolutely amazing. My co-caster, shout out Fang, once again, taking this microphone with me and dealing with my antics. I appreciate you all the more. Any last words, Shadow, before we exit the stream today?
No, you pretty much said it all. I mean, yeah, shout out everybody up in the booth, everybody behind the scenes doing everything. Make sure you turn on your notifications. We're going to have a ton of streams going on tomorrow. Probably going to be just as jam-packed as it was today, I have to imagine. So like I said, turn on the notifications in the Discord server. Turn on the notifications here on Twitch as well. You'll have plenty of games to watch. Absolutely.
Starting all the way, I believe, 2 p.m. UK time. Starting off strong here at least. So I'm sorry, 2 p.m. EST for the EU division, starting later in the day a little bit. So hope you guys start strong with that. But that's tomorrow. Tonight we're all done. Have a wonderful night, and please tune in tomorrow for some more of these games across all the brackets.